Howdy, neighbors. It's Sako Tumi, also known as Cass Voit, and welcome to my stream, which is Returning of the Light and a horror talk with Laura Nettles. Yay, horror talk! Yay!
Yay!
Do you want to introduce yourself? I'm sure that anybody watching this stream probably knows who you are, but
I'm Laura. My channel is Laura Nettles. I do all things spooky. I have adult horror. I published in anthologies, and I have a middle grade horror short story that is now published in a collection anthology, which is actually, I have expanded it into a middle grade novel, which I have been querying. So, yeah. So I do middle grade, I do adult. I am branching into the comic section of horror by adapting some of my 100-word drabbles into like 7-page comic chapters.
yes!
Yeah!
Yes, that's really exciting.
All things horror.
Yes, that's super exciting. Good morning. Can't say good morning to all the things considered, but it's still morning. Went to open the window, the rod fell, that hit the Christmas tree and broke a bunch of ornaments.
No!
Oh my God, what a morning. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh, darling. But welcome to the stream nonetheless. Hello, Mama Ward. Blessed Solstice. Blessed Solstice. Happy Yule.
I was up early this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hanging out on both streams. I appreciate that. I was kind of thinking I would interview you and we would talk about horror things, and then maybe I would throw some cards.
Sounds good.
Or, you know, solstice-y things or something. Because it is a great time to look at the past and kind of like take stock of what has happened and kind of like plant the seeds for 2023. Like, this is that prime time.
Right.
May light and love and hope return to you this day for the year to come. Also, yes. Yes. All right. Super cool. I don't know why I also streamed it to my witchy channel. I think probably because it was a Longest Night Returning Light sort of stream. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get this ball rolling. I have a bunch of questions. You already told me about yourself. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
So I am very obsessive, and so I do the day job, and then for like 8 hours, and then I write for 4 hours every day.
Oh, so writing is pretty much the
it's the outlet right now. So I have
outlet.
become obsessed with writing since 2018 November. So but I have also started to read again. So I read starting in July, August last year, and I've been reading ever since again. So that's been really nice. So
nice.
Yeah. Yay for reading.
Yay for reading.
Before writing, I would study film. Like I would sketch out the thumbnails of the cinematography and stuff like that of movies, specifically German expressionist films.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, those were really fun. So it's another one of my interests.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, I love those old movies because they were very low budget, but they were very innovative, and
They were innovative,
they
yes,
would
like
paint.
Nosferatu and Cabinet of
Yeah,
Caligari and
yeah,
movies
like
like that.
they would paint the lighting on the set. They would paint the shadows on the people. Like it was so cool. I love it.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time, for sure, ahead of its time.
A lot of them migrated over and worked on Universal monster movies.
Yeah,
So gotta love those as well.
yeah. I think your walls pretty much like express that. Express that.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm,
So mostly
okay,
writing, but also some movies and reading.
cool. What is your favorite childhood book?
Picture book was Tuesday. I don't know the author, but there was like 3 sentences in the whole book. But it's about the sun goes down on Tuesday night, and the frogs and the lily pads begin to fly, and they just fly through the town and terrorize the neighborhood dogs. They go into this old grandma's house and they're like changing the remote channel with their tongue, like watching TV with this old lady. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so fun. And they're zooming through the laundry, and it was amazing. And then the sun begins to rise, and the fogs fall from the sky. And they're like, dang it, no! And then Wednesday night, pigs begin to fly. So that was my favorite picture book growing up.
Wow, that's so cool.
Other than that, like chapter books,
Like as far as chapter book.
I loved Series of Unfortunate Events. I love A House Called Awful End by Philip Ardaugh, which is part of the Eddie Dickens. There's 6 of them now. It used to be a trilogy. So the Eddie Dickens books are about a boy named Eddie Dickens, and in the first book, his parents are sick, so they have this rare disease that make them turn yellow and crinkly around the edges, and so their doctor is like, you must eat onions and suck on ice cubes in the shape of famous generals, and all of your bedding is like cardboard. It's the most ridiculous, absurdest thing ever. And so he has to go live with his mad Uncle Jack and even madder Aunt Maud, and just all the shenanigans that ensue. Like, oh my gosh, he ends up in an orphanage at one point because an actor told him, you must act like an orphan and you cannot break character. So he has to pretend to be an orphan, and so of course he gets shipped off to an orphanage. Like, it's absurdist amazingness. It was actually written as a series of letters to the author's nephew.
Oh,
and so
cool.
he would write the story like and mail the chapter to him, and the kid would get the letter and the teacher would be like, I'm gonna read this to the whole class. So yeah,
That's amazing.
it's
Hi,
fabulous.
RC Scott. RC was supposed to join us today, but he is, if not already on the road, then he is about to get on the road to do holiday things.
Woohoo!
So he is very sad that he was not able to join us today. Also, hi Sage. Blessed Solstice. Happy Yule. Yay. May the returning light shine upon you. Absolutely. I just chugged my coffee. Holy crap. Okay. What is your favorite music album, and does music play any role in your writing? Do you do the music thing?
I do
like
do the
when you're
music
writing?
thing. So I listen to a lot of like horror ambience, or there's Peter Gundry on YouTube, who's a
I'm
composer.
familiar with Peter Gundry, yeah.
So I'll listen to him a lot. There are different playlist videos, so it'll be like a mixtape basically of different horror stuff. So there's a gothic one that I like to listen to that are different songs from different horror movies. So like The Woman in Black and things like that. So they're more like atmospheric and less violent violins, but like yeah, more atmospheric. There's actually an amazing playlist that I listen to while reading Junji Ito works and trying to write in, like, whenever I'm inspired by his works and I'm working on my own short story collection, I listen to it, and I think it's called Into the Spiral. But like, it's Uzumaki trap music. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah,
I have to admit that I listen to it all depends on the project that I'm working on as to what I'm listening to. Usually if I'm listening to if I'm doing cyberpunk type story, like with Hope's Chest, I was listening to a lot of synthwave and trap music and, you know, stuff like that. And then like Flambeau, I was listening to more darker toned, like industrial and some popular LA music, just to kind of like get me in the zone.
Yeah, like there's Cryo Chamber for the Lovecraftian ambience. There's
right, exactly.
There's lots of different things, but I actually do make playlists for specific projects sometimes if they're novel length.
Right on.
So like my YA sci-fi that I wrote,
playlists.
the YA sci-fi I wrote was all Samoan and Hawaiian music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I have a reverse cannibal story called Anthropomorphagus. And that one is all mostly classical and operatic music because that's what the main character listens to in his bunker.
Right.
So yeah, it just depends on the story.
Okay. It's midsummer where Sage is, so it's the longest day where he is. Also, yeah, happiest day of longest night or light, that thing. Thanks, Mama Ward. Happy longest night to you. Good morning, Cordy. Music is very dependent on the writing vibe. Yeah. I listen to a lot of film scores because lyrics pull me out of the story. Ditto. Otherwise, I start transcribing the lyrics.
I can do all the lyrics.
I wish I could. Like, because I don't have a firm enough grasp on like Romanian or Balkan languages, like I can listen to them because the melody is just another instrument to me.
Yeah. Like I have a playlist for my vampire romance that I drafted, and
ooh, that I want to listen to.
That's all English lyrics, the whole thing.
Also, did you say reverse cannibal story?
Yes. So this man is not quite human, and so he can carve a chunk out of himself and force feed it to someone, and that transforms that someone into like a cannibalistic monster. So, yeah.
Wow, cool. Hi, Cool Gamer. Thanks for the support. Thanks for hopping in. Happy holiday. Also, morning to you. I make a playlist for different whips, and the lists run I think you mean gamut of genre, which is like super cool. I think I'm in the same boat. I do listen to a lot of Q-pop as well because I don't speak Kazakh, so I don't get pulled into the lyrics, but occasionally they'll throw in some Russian and then I get distracted. Because even if I don't know the word, I recognize the sounds and my brain tries to translate it. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. So when
it has some of that vibe. I'm trying not to pull straight from it.
Oh, Kazakhstan. Oh, okay, I get you.
Ah.
Speaking of Balkan languages that I don't know. Very strange love. I thought I was hearing things. Don't know the word. I recognize the sounds in my brain tries to. Yeah. We read that. I am a method writer, like people who are method actors. Yeah, I got you. I try to be. I do. I try to be, but sometimes it doesn't take.
What is a method writer? Is that like trying to become your main character so you can channel them?
I don't. I think there's this persona that I take on when I read.
Oh no! Your
And if I'm really, am I okay now?
Getting there.
Getting there?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, I'm good now. I know I just blipped out for a second. Yeah, Kazakh stuff. Q-pop is what I call my music library, lol. Oh, Odabek. Oh,
Makes sense.
My brain tries to make things into sounds it understands, especially since we stroke. Oh, that's got to be hard. That's got to be really hard. So even if they're new sounds to you, like your brain still tries to be like, you should know this.
Sometimes I listen to K-pop and it's like, this is a fun bop, and then I'm like, is that English?
Yeah,
that was English. Oh,
yeah. So. I run into that with Japanese songs all the time, and they say it with such a heavy accent that it sounds like Japanese, but it's a English sentence.
Yeah. So there's a random English sentence. I should have recognized that on my first listen through.
That's what brains do. Try to interpret the world even if you don't have enough data points to interpret them. Oh, it was mine. It was mine. It's so cold here today. We had a huge snowstorm last night and temperature dropped to 40 plus degrees. Mambo is tucked in my jacket right now. Oh, poor little burb. Oh. Method writers try to put themselves into the character mindset as much as possible, like method actors who will pretend to be the character they are playing. I have taken to writing in third person, so it is third close, but I also do perspective of other people sometimes. So it gets funny. Very normal about Oderbeck. I don't think that's ever gonna go away. Okay. Do you have a favorite like director or movie?
So
horror,
I do love
like a
Del
horror
Toro.
movie. Del Toro, yeah.
Which is really cool because I've worked on some of his projects for my day job. So like I loved Crimson Peak, and then
me too.
I went to Mr. X, and they're like, "Hey, like we just did Crimson Peak. They worked on it," and so I got in, and then I worked on The Shape of Water over there. I worked on The Strain. I worked on what else was his? I don't remember.
That's okay. That's still a lot. Holy crap.
Yeah, so like it's really fun to be able to work on what you love. Yeah.
Yeah,
his color palettes, his monster creature designs, like, Yes. Working
Yeah, the
on
art
things that
direction.
have Doug Jones in it and the practical stuff, like, just augment it with the CG. So fun. So fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so love Del Toro.
We would have to raise bail money.
I also love Boris Karloff. So, like,
Mhm.
Bride of Frankenstein is one of my all-time favorite movies. Makes me cry every time with the blind man sequence when he takes in the monster. So, just like, so good.
Not being a fan of horror, I am a fan of Del Toro. His stuff is scary, but it's told so well and shot so beautifully. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is that guy's name? There is a director that I really like. He did The Conjuring 1 and 2.
Oh.
Something Wong. Is your name? James Wan.
Oh.
He's good at the creeping horror with the supernatural without relying on just jump scares.
Good. So more of a dread than.
Yeah. Like, have you seen The Conjuring?
Yes.
So, like, I love the whole concept of the hide and clap. Of, like, you know something's there, and, like, you hear the clapping, and you're like, is it the kid? Is it the ghost? Who knows? And then you go in, and you see the wardrobe up, and you see the little hands come out and do the clap clap, and it's like, oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah. Super good. I'd give it another watch and kind of like do a marathon of the Conjuring movies.
Yeah. I love the first one. The second one's cool with the crooked man. Yeah.
Also, Del Toro is just a giant nerd, and how can you not love that? He's so enthusiastic about story and film and the art of both without being one of those pretentious Hollywood twats. I agree. One of the cutest things that I have ever heard with Del Toro is during Pacific Rim, the little girl that plays the main characters. Yeah.
So this is from the art exhibit.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we had an exhibit up here in Toronto of all the stuff from his house. So it was like, it was amazing. They had a library that they replicated that he has in his house, where there are floor-length windows that are constantly raining 24/7, and just walls of bookshelves and a life-size sitting wax figure of Edgar Allan Poe reading. It's like,
wow, that is nuts.
You're amazing.
So the little girl in Pacific Rim, she loved Del Toro, and instead of calling him by his name, because those letters don't exist in the Japanese alphabet, she called him Totoro.
He's shaped like a Totoro.
And so that is an alias he goes by, is Totoro.
He's just so nice.
Yeah. So cute. So super cute. What are you reading now?
So I just finished reading a bunch of stuff. So right now I'm in between books. But
what's next on the queue?
Oh, I have to pick. So, like, I just read PTSD Radio Omnibus Volume 1, which is my favorite book of 2022. It is a horror manga where the chapters are like 2 to 10 pages long, and you are flipping between different character storylines, and then they end up all interconnecting, and you're like, mind blown! So, really good. Probably the next one on my docket is Tomie by
Oh,
Junji
nice.
Ito.
Okay. I'm
So,
about halfway through Tomie. I kind of put it down and just haven't had the time to pick it back up again.
so that one and No Longer Human, the Ito adaptation of the novel. I also have, I'll probably take home to California Chromophobia, which is a short story collection by women authors that, and each story uses color in a unique way. So I have read the first story, which is about strings of fate. So you have the red string of fate, but then there are also black strings of fate that tie you and somebody else that one of you is going to kill the other.
Oh,
So that was fun.
that sounds fun.
So that was an interesting use of black. But I'll see what the rest of them are.
On a similar note, what was the last great book that you read?
Besides PTSD Radio, I read Black Paradox by Ito. I have an obsession. I also read. Oh, where is it? I'll get it.
Okay. La 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 la, doing the dance while she gets it. La 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 la. Yeah, and he just went with it because he's quite possibly the most wholesome of the big A-listers. Yeah. 4 Rizzles. Meow 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 meow. Oh, here she comes.
Okay, I found it. It is called Infidel.
Ooh.
So this is a comic about a Muslim woman living in America. She is a immigrant, and so she is dealing with racism and Islamophobia and all that stuff while living in a haunted apartment on top of all that.
Oh, that sounds like right up my alley.
So the very first page of the prologue is this creature that, like,
like sleep paralysis.
Yeah. So
beautifully done.
Mm-hmm. So it has some really cool uses of different styles of drawing based on the mental state of the character. So that's really cool. It has just good. It's a standalone, so it is just one volume.
I appreciate standalones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there is it's a certain science with comics to not do something that goes on for 5 years, but rather to do like beginning, middle, and end in one book.
Yeah.
Like, I super respect comic makers who...
I think it's 5 chapters long. But...
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
End of every chapter, I was like, oh dang, no! Dang it, no! Next chapter.
Yeah. Do you judge between ebook, paperback, or hardback?
Like, do I judge if one's more valid than the other? Not really.
Like, do you prefer like stuff in physical form as opposed to ebook?
So I read PTSD Radio, and that same author also wrote Fuan no Tane, which I found an English fan translation of it because it's not officially translated in English yet. Like,
right.
I need it. But, so with the physical copy that I have, you turn the page and you have the page turn scare of you don't know what's going to be there yet. And so it's like the anticipation and then the reveal. And I live on that.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Fuan no Tane, it's on my phone, and so I'm just scrolling. And so it's like, I don't know if it's the story's not as scary or if it's the format that's not as scary, but I'm not enjoying it as much. And so it's like, I can't tell.
Yeah, I got you. Like, you would have to actually like contrast and compare, and that's probably more energy than you're willing to expend on the
it's
experiment.
not available in physical in English for me to even see if it's scarier in physical or ebook. So
Right.
yeah.
But Sage also appreciates a contained story, which is something that I'm working on right now, as a matter of fact.
I do enjoy audiobooks, except that I have horrible spelling. And so I will have no clue how characters' names are spelled, how location names are spelled, how spells names are spelled if I only do the audio. So if I do audio in conjunction with a physical, I'm golden. But
I got you.
yeah, like, how do you write fanfic if you've never seen the word spelled? Just live on the wiki. Like, how do I spell?
Living on the wiki? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were the authors that inspired you to write?
Philip Ardaugh, who wrote the Eddie Dickens stuff, so his absurdist amazingness. Him along with Lemony Snicket. And then when I was in middle school, I was like, I'm going to write my own story after I watched The Fellowship of the Ring. And so I wrote pages describing horses. It's like, I guess I am in the, what's his face? Tolkien's headspace. Just pages of descriptions.
Tolkien headspace, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really write Tolkien-esque. But I don't know. Horror.
I know.
For horror, I like to do more punchy, shorter. Like, I love fragments, and a little bit more of a poetic style. And so, I don't know. I read the book called The Anatomy of Prose by Sacha Black, and that's what helped me find my author voice in my writing.
Oh, so, Sacha Black.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard good things. I feel like I should look into it.
Yeah, that one, the Anatomy of Prose, is a fabulous one to help you level up your prose, but it helped me find and define my style.
Oh wow. Okay. I think I found it. Like, as far as style goes, I kind of became the thing that I was like aiming to be, and I feel like there's only room to grow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like excited to keep evolving as a writer as time goes on. Do you work to an outline or plot, or do you prefer just to see where the idea takes you?
It depends. So the first book I wrote, I did a plot embryo. So
right, I remember you showing that. Yeah.
So like the whole hero's journey, and so that was my big overarching outline. But then I needed chapters, and so I would start a chapter and do like 5 bullet points, and then write the chapter. It's like, okay, next chapter, 5 bullet points, write the next chapter.
I do something similar. Yeah.
Like, I have my big key moments I must meet, and then I pants my way in between.
I do the same thing.
But then I started writing shorter pieces. And so I would do 100-word stories, flash fictions, and short stories. And
I don't outline those. I just
Yeah.
pants them. Yeah.
yeah, so those have no outline whatsoever. Bye, Sage.
Bye, Sage.
And
We'll be
then
doing this for another hour and a half or so.
I completely pantsed my vampire romance. So
Yes, you did. Did that end? Did that end at some point, or are you still working on it?
So I'm not quite sure. I have somebody who's been reading and giving me notes, and there's so much that needs to be done to flesh out the characters. So
to the existing piece.
yeah, so like I got to a great stopping point in the draft, and so I don't know if that is going to be the end of book 1 or if it needs to go a little farther, because it's going to be 3 books. So yeah, so I think I'm going to call it done for draft 1 and then start stretching it out and fleshing it out and being like, oh yeah, you should have some, like, I don't know, psychological issues from what you've gone through. Let me elaborate on this.
And it's going to impact the way that they make their decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give meaning to why they're doing what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What kind of research do you do, and how long do you spend researching before beginning a book? I think it depends on the book.
Yeah. So
I did a lot of research for Host Chest, but not so much for Limbo.
For my YA sci-fi for Souls of Batua, because it was based off of the Samoan culture, and so my main character was a healer. She was a Teosane. I don't remember. It's been years now.
It's been so long. Yeah.
Yeah, but she is like a traditional healer using the Samoan tradition, and so I read a book about Samoan healing and like what plants to use, how many leaves, the preparation process. So like I had a whole manual basically on it that I read and utilized. But
so it depends on the project, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes I will read manuals. Sometimes it's fantasy. So
sometimes it's fantasy. Sometimes I just wing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But other times I will be doing research on like how do Catholics actually do an exorcism if I need to incorporate that into my story. So sometimes I need more like religion specific practices that are being incorporated. So I want to at least get the basics right.
Yeah, me too.
So it totally depends.
Do you have a favorite story short that you've written, published or not?
I have 2 short stories that I really like. One has been published and one comes out April. So the one that's already published, it's called Soot Scamp. So it is so the main character is a soot scamp, which are like humanoid creatures that live in a labyrinth. So they look like humans, but their eyes are sunken in because they never see the sun. So the labyrinth is all sooty on their level and dilapidated, and there are creatures that run about that like to eat soot scamps. So the main character has been what did you call it? Not disowned, ostracized, I guess, kicked out by the community. And so he is out there in the outskirts trying to survive. And so he has to take these celio petals that will stop his heart so that the creatures can't hear it and hunt him if they're too close. But he takes the antidote at the same time. And so he has to like time it correctly so that he will have no heartbeat as the creatures pass, and then the antidote will kick in and restart his heart after
that's dicey.
gone.
Wow.
Yeah, so he has to deal with that. And in the meantime, something falls through the ceiling, and it's a girl who has a lantern. And he's like, oh my gosh, light, what is this? So she invites him up to the next level where he can hang out away from those creatures until his time of being ostracized is over. Then he can go back to his family. And so it's the horrors that happen in that little story. The reveal is quite fun. I enjoyed it. And then the other one is called Tentacles and Boomboxes, which comes out in Lovecraftiana in April. And it is about a 1980s Lovecraft LARP. It's a 1980s Lovecraft LARP that goes terribly wrong. All right. So, yeah. Main character is an artist, and she is tasked with making the prop Necronomicon for the LARP. And, yeah, it seems to start writing itself when she's really tired. So, it's very fun.
My cat is being a distraction. Do you read your reviews?
I don't have anything published that's just mine, so
I
got to read.
You don't have reviews to read. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. What is the best piece of advice you've received regarding your writing?
So there are certain shortcuts that you can take when you are writing a 100-word story.
Right.
Like, I don't even know the gender of my main character sometimes because it doesn't matter. It's a little blip of a story. And so sometimes I will keep doing those shortcuts for my longer pieces.
Oh, whoops.
So I got called out. I was like, you're right. Dang it. I should figure these things out. So that call out, I guess, was very valuable of, yeah, I should develop these characters more for a proper flash or a proper short story. So,
yeah. I got you. What scares you?
Besides needles.
Oh, wow. Needles?
Hate needles. Don't really enjoy spiders.
Oh.
Like, I don't mind tarantulas and stuff, but like,
right, because at that point it's almost a rodent.
Exactly. But like, one time I was laying in bed reading. I put the book down. I see a spider on my quilt. Put the book back up, and I'm like, wait a second. No, put the book back down, and the spider was gone. I was like, no. Strip the bed. Where is it? Oh no.
Oh no, it's in the covers. It's gonna bite you in your sleep.
I don't know where it went. I don't want to eat it in my sleep.
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I don't know.
What are you working on now? You said you were in between books, right?
Yeah, so Vampire Romance Draft 1 is fizzled out, wrapped up. It is what it is. But I am working on my comic version of my Drabble called Tree Roots.
Oh.
So I have thumbnailed out the 7 pages. I have done 2 portraits of the main character. And so I have all of my art supplies to do it except for the inking pens. So once those arrive, I will continue onward. So
Nice. You find yourself on a desert island. Which 3 people would you wish to be deserted with you, and why? Living or dead, fictional or not.
oh. Who's great at survival? Maybe the professor from Gilligan's Island? Well, I would want a great storyteller to help pass the time. So let's pull Del Toro in.
Yeah, sure.
I want someone who is innovative and able to like create things. So and survival. Shoot. My mind is blanking, man.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's one of those things that you got to think through.
Let's go with Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
He can use the Force to like help do stuff. He's got a lightsaber to cut down all the trees that we need.
Yeah.
So we got Totoro, we got Luke Skywalker, and then
the professor.
Yeah, let's do the professor from Gilligan's Island.
Right on. Well, those were all the questions that were part of that interview. So,
Nice.
What's next on the horizon? Is it that graphic novel?
Yeah. So I want to do at least 2 chapters next year. So I want to do my version of Tree Roots, which is these tree roots that look like babies, and the main character sees them and is like, "What the heck?" And then they start walking away, and then they hear the tree root starting to scream, and so. Yay! And then I want to do a comic version of my Drabble called Mirror Mirror. So this woman she knows her reflection is not a true reflection, it's actually alive, and it does not like her. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I want to do at least those 2. I want to do draft 2 of my vampire romance. I want to publish Tiny Shivers. So my horror collection of my Drabbles, my Flash, my short stories. I have it already edited. I had a developmental editor. I incorporated those notes. I had a copy editor. That's done. All that's left is I need to commission 2 more illustrations, and then it goes to a formatter next year.
Nice.
So hopefully it'll be published in May, because I have to wait until after Technical the Boomboxes is published in Lovecraftiana, and then I'll be good to go to release it again in my own collection. So, yeah, it's the last piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
So ambitious. Your
my middle grade
seems...
My middle grade horror is with 2 beta readers, so hopefully they will get back to me by February. So,
cool.
March, while Tiny Shivers is with the formatter, I may be revamping my middle grade horror and stretching it out, because the agent feedback was 25K is too short for this story. You should get to 40K. And my brain is like, I've already been stretching this past what it originally was. Help!
So you need a subplot. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so it's with 2 beta readers, so we'll see what they say.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, it's been super awesome hanging out. It's been super awesome, basically getting to know you and getting to know your process a little bit and getting to know your inspiration. And I want to let you get back to work and and wrap up this stream. So if you enjoyed watching this stream, then you might want to hit the like button, do that thing, get crazy with the buttons. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, then you might want to subscribe and maybe even ring that bell on the off chance that YouTube actually notifies you when I go live. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.